Hello, I'm Seth Johnson with Land the House. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build this queen-size bed frame for only $110. Now let's go over the parts that you're going to need to build this bed. We'll start with the legs. You're going to need 9 of these 1" by 8" pipe nipples, and it is metal. Then you need 18 1" floor flanges. Okay. Then you need 2 different lengths of screws. I've got a 2.5" here and a 3" here. Now these have the star bit on them. It seems to help not strip out as well. Now for the wood, you're going to need 7 2 by 6 8-foot long boards, and then you're going to need 12 maximum 2 by 4 stud walls. Now with these, if you're going to be using a box spring, you don't need nearly this many. You might get away with, say, 6 or something like that. If you buy the stud wall version, which is 93 inches long, you can save $1 or $2. So I recommend that. So to begin, we've got our pipe and the floor flange, and simply screw these together, one on one side. Make them as tight as you can by hand. No need to over tighten. Flip it around and simply put the other one on the other side. And it's that simple to make the legs for our bed. We need 9 of these in total. Now it's time to get the wood cut for our bed. You'll notice I've got 3 different 2 by 6s set out here. You're going to need some different cuts for this bed. So on the first one, we need 3 boards cut to 83 inches long. So let me measure out here. Okay, so remember, 3 2 by 6s cut at 83 inches long. Okay, now on the next one, we need 2 2 by 6s cut to 80 inches. So mark out 80 here. We'll need 2 of those. Now lastly, we need 2 63" boards. So marking here at 63, need to cut 2 of those. Use the saw of your choice. In this case, I'm using a miter saw, but you could use a circular saw or even a table saw. And be sure to use eye protection and ear protection. Now we have all the boards cut, it's time to get them assembled. To get started with the assembly, I'm going to take the 2 63" boards and set them at the end and at the head. Next I'm going to take the 80" boards and put those inside here. That's going to make the basic frame of the bed. I'm going to use these 3" screws to go into the side here. Now you notice that the 63" board is on the end and the 80" board goes inside of that. That's important. Now I like to use these star bit screws here because they really grab well and don't seem to strip out very well. Okay. Make sure this is nice and flush here. Now I'm going to put 3 screws in this end piece here, and we'll see if that's going to be enough. Now that I have the 3 screws in this first corner, I'm going to move on to the other 3, putting 3 screws in each, and then I'll get back with you for the next step. All of the corners are now screwed tight together. Let's take our 83" boards here, and these are going to go on the edge And then also one across the middle here. So I'm going to place all of these out. So I have this lined up with the corners. Now sadly, the board I've got over here is a bit warped, so there's some space in here, but what can you do? You could always spend more money on more expensive wood, but for this version, it's going to be all right. So I'm going to put one in here and then go to the other side to make sure that it is also lined up. And then I'm going to put, make sure there's two in the end and then a couple along the edge here. Now for the middle board, it needs to be in the middle, of course. So we're looking for 31.5 here. So I'm just going to come up and just put a little mark at 31.5. And that way, we can center the board here at 31.5. We're now done with the 2x6s. They're all screwed into the frame. Now it's time to get our legs on here. So we want to be able to put these here towards the corner. Now one of my pet peeves is whenever you walk up to your bed, your toe goes under and smacks the piece that's under here. So if you wanted to spend a little extra money, you could extend this board over here and have this like this, but for now I'm just going to come back. Let's see what we got here. Let's come back 6 inches here, and then we're going to put this toward the edge of the middle, and that way we've got at least that much toe room in here that we won't be hitting our toes. So let's screw this in. The 3 middle legs are going to be set at 41.5 inches because that's half of 83. So I'm just measuring out 41.5 here and setting this leg in the middle. All 9 of the legs have now been screwed on here. It's time to flip this up and we'll work on the other side. All right, time to get this flipped over here. It's just heavy enough that if you have someone else working with you, it's probably worth having them help out. Ooh, there we go. So the frame is done. Now we just have to get some slats cut. Now remember that it's 60 inches from one side to the other. So we're going to cut these slats at about 59 3/4. I have the slats cut now. I'm going to get them stuck in here. Very nice. So as I was saying, if you're using a box spring, you don't have to have very many slats. Now if you're using one of the foam style mattresses, you may want a couple more. So at the beginning of the video, when I said that you're going to need 12, that was going to be enough to make an almost completely solid base here. But as you can see, even just using 6 slats is going to make this pretty well covered here. So what I would recommend is that you get as many as you feel like you need. So for a foam mattress, you know, you could probably get away with only using about 8 slats. I think would be fine. We're almost done. To keep these slats from sliding around as the bed's being used, I'm going to take some of these 2-inch screws here, and I'm just going to sink one on each side of the slat to keep it in place. For this bed, I'm going to have a gap between the slats of 8 inches. And like I said, if you need more than that, certainly cut more of them. If you need less, then likewise cut less. So I'm going to measure out here and get this next slat in line. I believe I'm going to do 7 inches. That should be pretty close. And make sure that you get those equal on both sides. So 7 and 7. Then just come back and sink a single 2-inch screw into those slat ends to keep them in place. The bed is complete. Let's have a little walk around so you can see the finished product. So like I said before, there was a little bit of a twist in that board, so you may want to do a better job than I did at picking out the wood. So far I think that's the only issue with the structure. The mattress or box springs will sit in here pretty good. If you get one of those foams that's like 6 inches, I think it is, it'll stick out a little bit, but then if you get box springs, it'll be up pretty good. And I built it this high with the 8-inch pipe so that you could roll some of those totes up under here for storage if you wanted. It still leaves you plenty of room to get the vacuum under there or whatever you need to do. I think I may need to add a mattress to this. It's not too comfortable. Well, so things that I have considered after building this bed. The 1-inch pipe is rather robust. I don't think it's necessary. You can probably move down to a 3/4 pipe and be just fine with this. Like I said before, if you need to put one of those foam mattresses on here, then you may put a couple more slats, especially up here, in case you want to sit and read in bed. You don't want to be sinking down between the slats. Thanks for watching. I'm Seth Johnson with Land House. If you have some comments or suggestions on this build, please leave them below. I do think that I will make a headboard for this next, so look forward to that future video. I'll see you next time. Bye. I could probably go to sleep here anyway.